All right, welcome to another episode of the Ask Swenk Show. And today we're going to talk about how do you say no to the wrong clients, right? You know you should say no, but you keep saying yes. And I want to give you a really good way in order to do this and let you know how I did it one day and had a really big client come back to me.
I'm Jason Swenk, and I'm answering your questions. And this is Ask Swenk.
All right, so Phil asked, today I took on a client I know will be a bad one. I've struggled with knowing when to say, I don't think we're a good fit for you. But when a client is motivated and wanting to do business with you, but you know they aren't the ideal client, how and when and what should I say to get out without sounding like a schmuck? I take on this guy, but I know I've got to get a grip on how to get out of the bad deal, right? You know, this goes back to, what I tell everybody about there's no such thing as a bad agency client. There's only a bad prospect or a bad process. And in this situation, they're a bad prospect. And I remember I was in the same shoes. And when you actually go through this is a good thing. I'll go through a couple different scenarios. So I remember I had a hard time saying no to the bad prospect. And one day I just knew this guy was just going to be a nightmare. And I remember saying, and at the time I think we were selling websites or a creative for maybe around 10,000. And I couldn't say no to this guy. And I literally said 80,000. And he said yes. And I'm like, go! Right? I was like, crap, we got to do work for them. My team's going to be miserable. But then something went off in my head going, holy cow, I could charge 80,000 for a website. And then my prices went up from there. Now that's a good scenario. But for most cases, when you know they're a bad prospect, I just literally simply say, hey, I don't think we're the right fit for you at this time. And then I would start recommending where they need to go. And I'd say, and then I would also give them pointers of what to look for. Right? I did this with a small company that came to me with an idea around Christmas. And they said, look, we want to do this little book and this little elf that goes with this book. And we want to put it together and we want you to design the website. And they didn't really have a budget, right? And at the time, the budget put them into a bad prospect for us. They were an incredible, company, but they didn't have the budget. We couldn't work with them, right? We were just not going to make money. And for those agencies out there, and I know you exist because I talk to you all the time, you want to make a profit. So stop taking on these work. So I simply was like, we're not the best people for you right now, but here's what you need to look for. And I highly recommend you go here. And then when you get to this next level, circle back with me and I'm happy to help. And then I actually even did the introductions for them. It took me maybe 5 minutes. Well, the company I'm talking about is Elf on the Shelf. And if you guys have kids, right? You all know how big that company is now. So it's all about being nice, not being like a douche or a schmuck that you actually said, right? On it, and be able to actually help them out. So just say, hey, we're just not the right fit for you for what you explained to me. Here's why. Like your budget is 5,000, our typical engagement is 80,000, right? Or, hey, your timeline that you're wanting this in is just unrealistic. Or, we only take on work that we truly have a passion behind. And with what you're doing, I can see the passion that you're having, but we're just not seeing the same thing. And for that being said, we're just not the right fit for you. And just move on and just help them out. And you never know when they'll actually come back. I mean, look, I used to get all the calls all the time saying, hey, I want to do the next Facebook, YouTube put together, right? But you never know. So always, don't be an ass, be nice and help them out. And I think you'll reap the benefits. So if you actually like this strategy, please make sure you start taking action on it, right? Stop putting your business to the side and actually start implementing the things that you're actually watching. I know there's a lot of you that watch these videos and listen to the podcast and all of this, and you're always in a constant learning mode, and you should be, but there's also a time to actually take action. So make sure you actually implement this and take action because your agency deserves it, okay? So go do it now.